tried, guys. I really did try, guys. You already know I was grinding so much, man, trying to hit a shot, but it didn't work out, man. This is all I got out of the beta. All right, guys, we're back. Game number 2. You already know we had to switch it up to TDM because unfortunately they took out cyber attack. But it's all right. We're gonna hit another banger because the first shot, it was okay, but we need a crazier shot. So right here, boom. Oh, Hitmarkered it! What? I just Hitmarkered it over the wall.
Yo, no way.
Bro, I literally called that. What the freak? Yo, let's hit another shot. Two in one game. Anyways, we got FaZe, Extract, Poj, Neox, and Awano. Say what's good.
Let's get it, boys. Let's get it.
What, bro? I was literally just doing the intro and I Hitmarkered. I called it, bro. Yeah, I was literally recording for a video and I called out that I'm hitting, boom, and then Hitmarker. Like, that's all I got. I got like 3 Hitmarkers. That's the only one I ended up saving. And now it's like, damn, we gotta wait 4 days to play again on the beta. What do I do, man? So I actually asked on my community tab. I'm like, bro, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I don't know what I want to upload. So I said, genuine, you know, responses. Let me know what you guys want to see. And somebody didn't reply to it, but he told me on Twitter, he's like, I saw what you posted. And he's like, what do you think of MW? And what do you think of the COD community in general? I'm like, it's a good question. So yeah, let's roll some gameplay. Let's talk about it. So right now, more than ever, it seems like there's a lot of interest with what's happening, what's going on with the COD community. There's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, you have all this stuff with Optic and this and that. You have all these people that are talking about like trick shotting and sniping and all these different communities in COD. And of course, it got a lot of attention when FaZe Rain infamously made those tweets and he made that video.
This game is just garbage, and I'll tell you guys why I think it's garbage. For me.
And I'm gonna touch on some of the things, but we're gonna go a little bit deeper. We're gonna go into more of the root cause rather than staying at the surface level, because I want this video to be somewhat interesting. I don't want it to be like the same old reiterated, yeah, game sucks. Don't like the movement. Yeah, like, no, I want to get more into it. So yeah, I guess we'll just go straight off of what FaZe Rain said in his video, because that seems to be like the major talking point with the community, as far as like, it got a lot of attention, man. And his main thesis statement from that was that it doesn't appeal to all communities. The new COD, they don't appeal to all the communities. And he made some good points. It's very true. You know what I mean? It's not the same like it used to be. It doesn't have an appeal to all the communities, but why? You know what I'm saying? And now the answer is just a little bit more complicated than they just kept coming up with bad games, because although that is the true answer on the surface level, it's a little bit more complicated than that. And I didn't write a whole essay on it, but I do have a couple of notes and I did a lot of research and I looked into it. But it isn't like a factual thing. This is more of my generalized theory, but it makes a lot of sense and it definitely is a key role into why this whole stuff is happening. So let's just start off with the nitty-gritty nerdy stuff. All right, investors, we're gonna talk about that a lot, and stocks, pretty boring, right? Yeah, I know. So here's how these companies work. They have investors. Every company has investors. You've seen investors do bad things. I mean, come on. I was in Red. Investor problems. Red's not a thing anymore. Optic, investor problems. Optic's not a thing anymore. You know what I'm saying? And the nitty gritty for Activision and Call of Duty is that shares fell, but the S&P 500 actually ended up rising. And in stock terms, that's a bad year. That's a pretty rough year when it's just up and down like that. And if the investors aren't making money, guess what? They're not happy. Their job is to invest and get a return on that investment. So if they're not getting a return on that investment, they're gonna step in and say, hey, you guys gotta make some changes. We wanna make a return on our investment. And the shareholders, they have say as to what the developers do. It's not like the devs are the only ones running it. I mean, it happens with any type of investor relationship in the esports industry with the teams. Formula lost control of Red, Hex lost control of Optic, like, it happens. And now at the surface level, you can actually look at this and say, what do you mean? You're making no sense, because when you're looking at, you know, the quarterly reports, they show growth, but this growth, and I think FaZe Rain even touched on this a bit, a lot of the growth you see is like a natural result of the booming growth of social media. And you got Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, etc. YouTube's actually been around for the longest. That's why you see It's really not growing on YouTube. It's actually been diminishing. But when you're looking at Twitch and Twitter and you're just looking at those impressions and looking at those for the quarterly reports, you can say, oh yeah, it's growing. But really, they're just nitpicking statistics to their favor.
There's a reason why Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 2 and COD 4 and World of War and all those games were so much bigger than any game nowadays where social media is the biggest. And it's just, you know what I mean? Like right now should be the biggest time for Call of Duty because of how much bigger social media is. But no, it was bigger when social media didn't fucking exist. Why is that? Maybe because the fucking game was better and maybe there was more shit for every person who played the game.
And I mean, come on, anybody that's been around long enough to be in the COD community during, you know, the golden age or the good old days, you know, man, it's died in almost every single community except for maybe the competitive community, because that's where the investors and you know, Activision has focused on, especially because you'll see it, the booming esports industry is growing, so that's where they can make the most money. So they're making those decisions to focus on one particular community because they're money driven ideas, not community driven ones, and you'll hear me touch on that a little bit more. So yeah, now it's actually come to a point where investors are proposing all of those, you know, plans to generate revenue. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, they're not community focused ideas. They're just mainly just money focused idea. That's where you get a lot of those things, like the terrible supply drop system from BO4. And get this, recently, especially 2019, 2018, going to 2019, you've seen all the reports, especially when Fortnite became a mobile game, that you got all this money in the mobile gaming market. There's been so many like articles and this and that about mobile, you know, like the mobile market is just growing and growing, which it is. So you get COD Mobile as a result of them taking an opportunity and the investors going, hey, this is a mobile growing market, all this mobile gaming stuff, let's, you know, try to pick in there and make some money, and boom, next thing you know, you got COD Mobile. And that's just another example of something that really wasn't community driven. You didn't really hear people talking about like COD Mobile. Like, who cared about COD Mobile? Like, nobody would have been upset if COD Mobile didn't come out. Now that it's a thing, yeah, it's cool. Some people like it, it's cool, but it wasn't really like a community driven thing. Most of the community for Call of Duty, we all know it's been a console dominant video game since it's been invented, since its creation basically. So yeah, COD Mobile definitely wasn't community driven. It was just another way the investors were trying to capitalize on a way to gain more revenue so that they can get a return on their investments, which is reasonable. It's not their fault. What the hell? So the point I'm trying to make is that Rain was right when he said that they're making all these changes and slowly but surely they kind of kicked out and cut off all those like great things about Call of Duty back in the days that made those communities thrive. As he mentioned, you know, the trick shot community, the snipers, the trollers, the casuals, the pros, they became so focused and driven on gaining the revenue that they started making more of those, you know, money-based decisions, you know, profit-based decisions rather than community-driven one. And that's the point, and that's literally been like repetitive. It's been synonymous through every single COD. There's always something. And yeah, like they'll try the little things. Like I remember in World War II when I was in Red, they ended up doing some of those community stuff like the Red Reserve camo. They had even like the optic camos and the esports camos in the video games like on AW, or you know what I'm saying. But those like those weren't like the core of the game. They changed it up so much to profit that people just lost interest and those communities died, as Rain said. So yeah, when it comes to those investors, as I foreshadowed when I was talking about, you know, like the optic and red stuff, COD with those investors has lost control of their brand and their game essentially. I mean, they literally lost it to a point where at one point the most like popular and loved developer David Vonderhaar was asked to step away on Twitter. That's what he said, and I quote, "Step away from COD." Are you serious? He's since deleted those tweets, but that's how much control they lost. That's how bad it was, man. That is that's insane, bro. So anyways, Rain actually makes a pretty good point when he explains that all the communities that have helped to grow the franchise over the last decade were essentially neglected because, you know, these investors wanting a return on their money pretty much wanted changes to be made, and those changes ended up, you know, neglecting and pushing away and essentially killing all those little subsets of communities that help to make it grow. Like, it's so unique, man. Like, before that, there was nothing like it. You had Call of Duty at the top with, you know, trick shotters and people getting millions of views on their montages, trick shotting and sniping, and then you had all these people making these troll videos, you know, as he mentioned, the Minnesota Burns, you know, the Kazas doing the trick shot trolling, you know, all those guys, you know, the KYR Speedy and the crew and all, like it was a thrive. I thought it would never end. It was bigger than anything we had ever seen since Minecraft. It was insane. Now, yeah, you could be like, oh, just, you know, they grew up and stopped playing, but that's not really the case. I mean, you could look at Minecraft, for example. Even after all these years, we all know recently it's still popping at the top, you know what I'm saying? And it's because they didn't change the core of the game to a point where it was clearly money driven and profit driven and drove out the communities. Minecraft didn't do that. There's still all those communities of, you know, the Redstone nerds that are getting, I mean, I was watching Redstone videos when I was making my stuff and I started playing Minecraft. And then you have the people that play, you know, the survival playthroughs and all these other videos. And then you have the people that make these unique challenges. Minecraft kind of has those subsets to a degree, just like Call of Duty has, but COD, through their investors wanting profit-driven ideas and changes, ended up, you know, diminishing those communities, unfortunately. And there you have it. Overall, we've seen the cause and effect that bad investment relationships can have with a community. It happened with Red, happened with Optic. I was in Red when it happened, and that sucked. Now, just the other day, Optic, you know, heck, it was officially done. It was already done for, but it was officially done when Hex left. He's like the face, the head of Optic, CEO, and boom, he's gone. The NRG he went to, so rip. And now you even look at COD franchising, man. They wanted to franchise it because that's where the money is. It's money driven. They decided, let's do franchising, even though we know it's going to push out some of our most favorite brands. 100 Thieves, not even in the COD franchise anymore. Optic, no sir, can do. Now it's like Immortal. I don't even know what's going on. Is FaZe even gonna franchise with a team? I'm like, no. Actually, I saw people in FaZe leaving or something around those terms with, you know, they're not expected to compete. I didn't research into that too much, but like, you don't have FaZe potentially, you don't have Optic or 100T. Like, where is this direction going? Whose bright investor idea was that to make that change when the heart of the community is now getting pushed out? Like, now it's even more done, you know what I'm saying? But that's just talking negative, because there's always hope. It's always like, COD's always going to be a top seller. Like, there's always going to be a community for it. There's always going to be viewership for it. But the viewership for each specific subset seems to be diminishing. I have no idea how VKs and Warpsies are pulling over 10K per video, but they've done something incredible, man. They've took the last bit of juice that's left in this community and they've turned it into a fan base and an audience for themselves, and I commend them greatly for that. And the funny thing is, I was talking to them the other day and they told me like half the people they said that watch their videos aren't even in the Trickshot community anymore, or the COD community. They just watch it for the nostalgia. So it's at a point where people are just watching it for nostalgia, like, oh, remember that time? Yeah. You don't know when you're in the golden days until you're not in them anymore. Sucks, you know? I think another similar analogy to that goes something like, you don't realize you're in a good moment until it becomes a memory. That's an F in the chat, man. Everybody's gonna play their last 6-man one day or the other. You're gonna play your last 6-man. You're gonna play your last party with your boys. And then what? And then last seen online 8 years ago. That's what it turns into. So yeah, there it is. I think Rain, at the end of his video, he ended up making a joke. He said something like, if you want the next COD to bang Activision, let the FaZe guys and the FaZe leaders help develop it, or something like that. But I mean, let's be real. If the COD if they can't even make their own decisions when the investors are just telling them to do all these things for profit-driven changes, and then, you know, what are the chances? Now, here's a far-fetched idea. Use all the FaZe money as an investment to invest in a share and have a good portion of Call of Duty, freaking own Call of Duty, and then make it. You know, it sounds crazy, but is it? I don't even know anymore. I'm just blabbering on about random crap. So yeah, lesson of the day. If you're gonna end up, you know, running a big company or business or anything like that, be careful with those investors before you end up losing control of your own brand and then losing your community along with it. There it is. All right, that's it. That's my thoughts. That's a little deep dive into it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I just figured I'd speak my mind, share a couple theories that I had. You know, none of this is hard, you know, proofed or anything like that, but it makes a lot of sense, and it's happened repeatedly with other games and other companies and other teams, and it's happening with the COD community. So let's just hope we get a big turnaround. But yeah, other than that, thanks for listening to my thoughts. Hope you enjoyed the video. Drop a like and comment. It helps more than you think. I'm gonna pop up the comment shout out of the day right here, and as well, we got subscriber shots of the day. You already know a lot of people that watch me are trick shotters, all right? So we're gonna throw up some of the best beta trick shots, and you can also check out those guys in the description as well. Once again, thanks for watching. It's been Rec, and I'll catch you guys later.
What the fuck? Where was he?
Man, y'all are trash. I hope you know that.
I don't even know where he was, bro.
Wait,
Holy
wait,
shit.
did somebody hit?
Let's go, bro.
You're trying to
Let's go, bro.